Okay, right here is the corner that I started. Now all I did was use a little tiny bit of hot glue, and how I'm controlling the temperature of this hot glue so it doesn't end up melting the foam is I'll just unplug it now, and then I'm just going to start running a little bead all the way around. You don't need much of this, if you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just unplug it. I'm going to lay this section right along that center line. But I just want to get this started for you so you can see how easy my method is. I've been criticized for doing it this way, but that's already set in place and that's not going anywhere. Okay. Secondly, what I do is after I get the first section done, then I could just come along and follow it along with the next section, and then your track fits right nicely on there. As long as you set your track plan up good, your track's going to set right on the cork. Okay, so let's keep going here. That line. And I've been doing this for 15 years like this, and hot glue is my friend. Okay, so I'm showing you that. There's my first section. Okay, now the second thing that I do is I never line up my cork exactly together. I always stagger it, so I hope you can see that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to stagger that piece like this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn around. I'm just going to put a tiny drop right on that piece of cork. And I'm going to start that piece right there. And then I just hold that right down until it grabs. And then as I'm pulling it, I'm not pulling the cork away from the foam. And using other methods, you got to stick pins and nails and stuff in there. With my method, I don't need to do that. Okay, so here we go. We got that attached. We're going to go and just follow that line again. That's about good enough for now. And then we just slide that in place and make sure we squeeze down tight, because that'll squeeze the glue into where you need it the most, and so it doesn't have a hump anywhere, because if you don't push down on it, you're going to have a hump. Okay, there's a section of cork road bed that's laid ready. Now you got to keep an eye on your temperature, because you don't want it too cold either. So I'm just going to go along and finish this up to that point. Okay, do the same thing, make sure it's all pushed down so we don't have any humps. The other thing you can do after to make, if you do have humps on it, is you can take your hair dryer on high and just blow along and push down as you go, and that'll take up any of the bumps that you have. Okay, now this is probably starting to cool off, and I'm going to set that aside, because the next thing I'm going to do is get my next piece of cork up, and I want to start using the longer sections. I just bought these off of eBay, and it was a good price, but some of them were used, and you can see that they're not all cut straight. So what I do is, to get them to line up, I put the razor blade in a pair of vice grips, and this way you take both of your sections that you're going to cut and you push down on the cork, and you should have two pieces to come out, one small from the bottom and one regular. Now these are going to mate right up perfect, as long as I didn't get them upside down. Oh, that's right. Okay, so see, it's kind of easy to work this way because you can work as you go. As you can see, I got it lined up to this point right here, and then I'm going to stop. So I'm going to finish this section right here, and then I'm going to follow this section, keep going with this section around as far as it goes. Okay, so I have my hot glue gun plugged back in. I removed the track over here, and I'm going to start by finishing this piece off that I have here. Come to the curve, follow the little tick marks. There we go, so there's that section. And then we take another section out, and this section I'm going to have to do the same type of cut as the other section, and here we go. Be careful when you use a razor blade. That's why I'm using that vice grips, because with my hand everything slips out and I just can't afford to be hurt anymore. So there, I'm putting the little bead of glue, okay, and I'm gonna get that lined up with the next section. Okay, there that is. Now it's time to unplug my hot glue gun again so it doesn't get too hot. I have a controller that I use that actually controls the temperature of a soldering iron, but I don't have that handy because I just moved in and I'm still not sure where all my stuff is. So I do a little bit at a time, make sure it's not getting too hot or too cold. But if it does get too cold, you can use the method that I said by using a hair dryer and warming it up, and it'll do the same. Alright, okay. Here, the funny thing about this over here is I had to change the track plan, so I kind of goofed up on a few spots. So what I'm going to do here is just retrace my little spot to that point, and I'm going to follow that line so I know where I'm going here. Okay, there's that. Now I got a little bit of extra that's in the middle there that I don't want, so I'm just going to move that away. There we go. And now I'm going to keep following that line right around to here, and that's where I'm going to stop my glue bead. Okay, that should work fine. Okay, now we have that section in. Oh, my back hurts. And I'm going to try to use up some of these short sections. Oh boy. So I'm just going to eye it. Let's see what happens. Yeah. Start with another little section right there. Okay, well, I bumped my camera, so some of it got I missed some of it. So what I did was I glued down my next section. I gotta put another piece of hot glue in here. And have it marked to where I need to stop the glue at. Tight and flat and firm. Okay, all flex track's going to be laid on top of this. I used sectional track to lay out my layout. So it'll come, it has a set radius, but with my flex track I'll be able to follow the contours in case it comes that it goes out of round a little bit. This way it won't be such a perfect circle, because you know, until recently track was laid by hand. Well, it was not always as straight as it can be, and that's, I'm going off on a rabbit trail here. Okay, moving right along here. I've got my sections done around that corner. I'm coming up to this side here. And mark out where this is going to stop. Put that piece in. And because I'm laying a flex track, I have a little leeway here. I could actually do a little wiggle or whatever if I wanted along here too. But as you can see, if I get any extra that's popping in the middle, I take my piece of styrene that I got and I scrape that along so it doesn't interfere with the center section, because that'll cause a hump in the center. And there's that. I've got the other piece already attached over here, and that's going to get laid right along this section here. Stop right there. I hope you all enjoy this video. It's not very easy for me to make these videos. I'm really busy. I'm stopping. I'm doing this before I end up. I have to go to the doctor's in like really shortly. I just got done dropping my daughter off at school, so I don't really have a lot of time to do this. So everything's done in sections. So I'm sorry you have to wait for updates on the layout. As you can see here, I'm going to need to fill under here because I have a big hole in my foam here. Unplug, make sure that's unplugged, because like I said, I have to go to the doctor's, so I really don't want hot glue left on. Make sure it's unplugged. Okay, here's the rest of the cork that I ended up buying offline, and it's all brand new sections. I've been just using the sections that came in that were half used, you know, and that's what I recommend too. If you're going to start a project on something and it's your first time, start out with something used first and practice on your material that you're going to use. If you have a piece of foam, you can find building foam all over, a chunk of it somewhere. Lay out your piece of track on it. Let me show you this real quick how I do this. So you can see, you lay out your piece of track. Okay, start over. if you have a piece of building foam to practice on, I would advise it. Here's how I would do it. Take your piece of track, mark on each side. If you want to measure it to find the distance, you can, or if you're good by eye like I am, I just put a couple tick marks, and then I make some dotted lines, and that gives me a place to run my cork down the center. Glue that, take the other side, glue that, and as you can see, your piece of track will fit right where you want it. But remember, the other tip that I gave you is stagger your joints of your cork, because it's going to look a lot better, and it's going to give you a place to continue, so you don't have to start all over by making your lines. Okay, that's going to wrap it up, I think, for right now. And this is Marty McCarrick from Coffee Table Layout Central. Have a good day.